Welcome to Mike Nierychlo Online, sharing my love for people, wine, food, and all things made passionately. Alright, today's show, as I mentioned in the past few episodes, I want to touch base a little bit more on Chilean wines, or wine from Chile. Now, like Argentina, its neighbor, Chile, South America, is another part of the world where you're going to start finding great value for your buck on wine. Their winemaking, or level of winemaking, is really starting to improve in Chile, and the value of the wine is right there with it. So you're going to get pretty good bang for your buck on wines from Chile. Now, like Argentina, Argentina has a red grape called Malbec. Malbec, originally from France, does extremely well in Argentina, and you still get good value out of it. Chile, same case scenario. They have a grape called Carmenere, which is also originally from France, but does very well in Chile. Now, unlike Malbec in Argentina, which you still find lots of in France, you find very little Carmenere in France anymore. You find tons of it in Chile. So I got a couple bottles here today. Hopefully we're going to find some value for you. I'm going to get right into them. I'm looking forward to doing a few more episodes on Chile coming up. Hopefully you enjoyed my beer episode last week. Hoping to do some more, talking a bit more about beer. We're going to do some more Chile episodes coming up and move on from there. Also, the Vancouver International Wine Festival this year happens to be showcasing Chile. I'd love to show off some of the whites you can get from Chile as well. They do some really neat white wines. But today, we're talking Carmenere. So the first one I have, this is the Falernia from, it's their 2007 Reserva Carmenere, Chile. 18 bucks for this wine. Really nice packaging, heavy duty bottle. I'm looking forward to trying this wine out. One interesting fact I read on the back, grown 550 meters elevation above sea level. The grapes were partially dried on the vines in order to yield a more complex and concentrated fruit. Super stoked to see how this comes through in the glass. 2007, it's got a little bit of time on it, about 4 years. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Now, big, bold red wine. You can barely even see through that one. It's got a lot of texture. It's a heavy duty wine. You can tell just by the color. Let's get right into it. Carmenere. Fun Grape Friday. You can see on the nose why in different parts of the world it was mistaken for Merlot, it was mistaken for Cab Franc. It has a lot of similar characteristics to it, but still it's a different wine though, it's a different grape. Okay, on the nose, you get a lot of black fruit coming through. Kind of those blackberries meets really ripe black plums and black cherries. A lot of black fruit. Yeah, black ripe fruit. Almost, you get a sense of like a shriveling fruit on the vine. You know when you bite into a raisin, the outer shell of a raisin is kind of almost tart? Similar aspect. It's come through on the nose, which is really interesting. Tons of pepper on the nose of this, a little bit of earth, like a little bit of dirt, a little bit of vegetal aromas. I like the nose on this so far for 18 bucks. Very juicy as well, very juicy. Get a little bit of kind of, almost raisiny fig aromas too. It's a big smelling wine. Interesting. Wow. Okay. Holy smokes. Give me a second here. Okay. How it says on the back, the grapes were left to shrivel to get more concentrated fruit. They weren't kidding. This is almost a port-like wine. Holy smokes. I take a second with this. The consistency is almost syrupy of this wine. This is huge. This is a bold, in-your-face wine. There is a lot of wine in my glass with this red wine. Like this has got power and gumption to it. It's a thick, heavy-duty, big wine. This is a cold day wine. This is a winter day wine. Tons of big, fat, ripe, black fruits. Hearty tannins, like leathery, hearty tannins. Very peppered tannins. Big, bold wine. I can't really say much more about this wine than big and bold. Like it's, wow. yeah, don't really know what to compare that to. Slight green vegetal flavors. Reminds me almost of like chive or dill. Those sort of flavors. Tons and tons of big, goopy, syrupy black fruits. It's a delicious wine. It's absolutely delicious. With food, you would only really pair this with a super seasoned, heavy-duty chunk of beef. Something like that. Like this is a steak wine or a big roast. That is a big, heavy-duty wine. Impressive. It's got all the... Wow. Okay, I need to move on to the next one, but it's got all the right pieces. It's a good wine. It is a killer wine, though. There's a lot of wine in that glass. Just those few sips. Holy smokes. Big wine. Big wine. Delicious wine. Fills your mouth. Fills your palate. Kind of conquers anything in your mouth. You're going to need huge food to compete with that as far as a pairing. 18 bucks, though. 18 bucks. That's a fun wine for you to try. If you know somebody who really likes their big, bold, red wines, that's the one. Like I said, 18 bucks. I'm going to call this, let's call it Good Plus. It's very well made. It's a very good wine. I like it. 18 bucks. I think you're getting pretty decent value for your money right there. Interesting. Okay, the next one I've got here. Yeah, so my battery just died on the camera. Go figure. I was like had my toes crossed, my fingers crossed, and this episode would carry on with the battery life going down like red flashing bars. Anyway, Emiliana. This is their 2010 Reserva, and they're calling it, this is their Adobe label. Now, Emiliana, they're a large Chilean producer. They have many different labels, and like I said, this is their Adobe. This is their 2010 Carmenere Reserva. Now, the previous one we just tried was the 2007. 2010, much younger wine, much newer wine. This wine I would be afraid to try young. This one's going to even need more time, but holy smokes, I'm still recovering from that. It's like a punch in the face. It's such a big wine. Very delicious wine. Also, and I still want to keep talking about this one, but I'd compare this to like your big Italian wines, your Barolos, your things like that. It's a big wine. It doesn't quite have the tannic backbone that some of those big Italian wines do, but this is like, yeah, it's like a Ripassa or something like that, Ripasso, which is a style of wine where they're reusing old grape skins, things like that, so they get a bigger, more heavy-duty wine. Yeah, big wine. Big wine. Big, big, big wine. Okay, let's get into this one. This one, 15 bucks. Let's see how we do for value on this one. Here we go. Okay. On the nose. Very nice and aromatic. This is much more delicate. I probably should have started this wine with this wine, but give it a second so I can't keep up. This one's kind of punched my palate in the face. Very nice, delicate aromas on this one, actually. More bright, more kind of maraschino cherry. Some nice earthy aromas, some nice vegetal aromas. Yeah, nice juicy aromas. It's a very juicy wine. Cranberry, raspberry. Definitely got your cherry in there, maybe a little more of your red cherry. Juicy wine. This wine doesn't have a heck of a lot of that pepperiness or anything. A little bit, but it's a very juicy smelling wine. I'm going to put it that way. Kind of a juicy fruit blend. An eclectic array of fruit aromas. Juicy wine. The palate. This reflects the nose. This wine, I think, price point, bang on. It drinks like about a $15 wine. It's a very safe wine. It's a very juicy wine, very approachable wine, almost refreshing for a red wine, which is kind of nice. It's got a nice acidity to it. It carries it clean on your palate. This you could drink really nice with your lamb. Actually, this would go really nice with lamb or duck. Something along those lines. Heck, you could have this with a hot dog, you could have this with a hamburger, you could have this with your craft dinner. Craft dinner wine. Try it. I'm not kidding. It does work. Craft dinner ketchup and wine. That's depretentiosized. This is a fun, casual, well-made, juicy, yummy wine. I'm going to put it that way. Oh, I'm not sure where to put this on my wine rating system. I'm going to go decent plus. Yeah, decent plus. Fun wine. I like this one. Extremely safe. If you want a wine that a lot of people are going to like and you don't want to spend too much, 15 bucks, everybody's going to be like, oh, this is a fun, juicy wine. Kind of my same philosophy I have with Sangiovese, an Italian wine, or Italian grape. Often Sangiovese, I mean, they use it in all kinds of stuff, but they often make Chianti with it. Chianti, you often see the wines in those little baskets. That wine, nothing to write home about, no epic complexity. It's one of those I don't care wines. It doesn't matter. It's a table wine. It's a delicious wine. It goes with Italian food. It's delicious. This I compare to that. Delicious, juicy, unoffensive, super fun, super fruity. It's going to work with so many good foods. Heck, you could have this with Greek food. You could have this with Italian food. It's a very versatile wine. Super good, safe wine. A kind of wine that if I was having a wedding, I've been married for a long time now, I would pour a wine like this. Everybody's going to like it. There we go. That's today's episode. A little bit more on Chile, finding for you some value in Chile. This wine's still going to kick you in the chops. It's a killer wine. If you want a big heavy-duty wine, go this direction. It's fun, super interesting, and it will blow your mind. I think it's worth trying for the $18. You should definitely try it out. Wine, depretentiosized, and we'll see everybody on the next episode.